Hello, welcome to our Heritage Works. Today, we're making cherry cordial cookies from a gluten-free cake mix. Stay tuned to the end for the recipe and a special challenge. The ingredients we are using today is a gluten-free cake mix, 2 eggs, almond extract, carob chips, and vegetable oil. The first step in our mix today is we're going to combine our almond extract and our vegetable oil. And we're going to pour this into the cake mix and just start to get the cake mix moist. Give it a gentle stir to incorporate. Next, add in the eggs. I'm adding 1 egg at a time just so that I can have a chance to mix it in. It is at this point I realized I should not have used a whisk. I should have stuck with my spatula. So it's going to take me a minute to clear the whisk of what's there and switch over to my spatula. Gluten-free flours tend to be a little drier than normal. So what I found out is for this particular recipe, we are going to need to add some water. As you can hear, my oven has been preheated to 350 degrees. As I'm combining this, I can see that it is too dry of a mix this time. My mix was actually a rather large cake mix. It was 22 ounces. Most are 15 to 18. So it's no surprise that I needed more moisture. So I will be adding some water to this. I'm looking for a consistency that is like a cookie dough. So by adding the water, I'll be able to fix this. I probably could have used even a little bit more water than I did. I think I used about a tablespoon, maybe 2. I just wanted enough to get this dough to come together, and that's all I was looking for. Now that I have the dough hydrated, I can add in my chips. Now I'm using carob because I can't have chocolate chips. So use what you can. If you can have chocolate chips, go ahead. But I use the carob because that's what I'm allowed. If you noticed, I also used almond extract at the beginning. The reason I use almond extract is it has a cherry flavor to it. So that's where the cherry is coming from for my cherry cordial. And if you notice, I decided to just get in there with my hand and mix this up. I found that it did a better job in getting it worked together. Now, I do recommend that you let the dough sit for about 10 minutes after you get it all mixed together, just so that all that flour has a chance to be fully hydrated. And at this point, you can see I've got a really nice cookie dough. After the cookie dough has set, I'm going to put these on a parchment-lined cookie sheet, and I tried to make sure that they're all about the same size. I did this by cutting the ball in half and then in half again and in half again, and just rolling them up and putting them on the cookie sheet. You don't want them too big or too small, but you also want to leave them room on the cookie sheet. So just space them out like you would normal cookies. They don't spread out too much. The one thing I would do different is I would tap these down just a little bit with my fingers or the back of a spoon, just so that they're slightly flatter when they start, just to make them a little bit bigger of a cookie. Let's put them in the oven for 18 to 15 minutes, whatever it takes till they're done. Once done, allow your cookies to cool on the baking sheet for 5 minutes or so, maybe 5, 10, before transferring them to a wire rack to finish cooling. For storage, you will want to let these cool completely and then put them in an airtight container. Now, if you're going to eat them that day, it's fine. That's all you need to do. If you're going to let them go more than a day or so, you probably should put these in the refrigerator. They just are extra moist, and you want to make sure that they stay as fresh as possible. Now, these cookies will only last about 2 to 3 days before they get super soft, and it's because of the cake mix construction. So if you're like around here, it wasn't a problem. We had them gone the next morning. But if you're wanting to make these ahead, do them the day before, but I wouldn't go much more than that. Basic recipe is 1, cake mix. It does not have to be gluten-free, but for those of us that need it, we're going to be using gluten-free. 2 eggs, half a cup of oil, and half a cup of fixings, whatever it is you want inside your cookies. And for those that are using a gluten-free cake mix, you may need to add a little water just so that there's enough moisture. You'll mix all this together and then bake it in a 350-degree oven for 18 to 15 minutes, depending on your cookies and your altitude and all that. So 8 to 15 minutes should cover it. When the cookies come out, cool them on the baking sheet for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then transfer to a cooling rack to finish cooling. And that's it. If you don't have a gluten-free cake mix handy, you can make your own for this recipe. What you would need is 1.5 cups of flour, gluten-free of course, 1 cup of sugar, 1.25 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum if your gluten-free flour does not have it already. If it already has xanthan gum in it, do not add any more. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Mix this all together and substitute that into the basic recipe as your cake mix. So what is the challenge that we've got for you? Well, during the month of May, we want you to make your own cake mix cookies. When you've done, send me a link to your video and I will create a playlist. While we feature gluten-free cookies on this channel, yours does not have to be gluten-free. Use your imagination. What flavor combinations can you come up with? Maybe chocolate cake with peanut butter cups? How about a yellow cake with toffee chips? Or a white cake with M&Ms? How about carrot cake with coconut? Or strawberry cake with coconut? Or how about Devil's food cake with white chocolate chips? Mm. Maybe spice cake with pecans? Or chocolate cake with The grasshopper type of mints. Yeah. Ooh, red velvet cake with white chocolate chips. Maybe lemon cake with white chocolate chips. Use your imagination. So let's come up with whatever we can and see if we can get the summer started off with loads of cookie recipes from cake mixes so that we have them ready to go for those long summer months. Thank you for watching.